Let's dive right into this explainer because we're exploring a seriously profound shift in perspective today. We usually treat human medicine and environmental science like they're two completely separate worlds. But what if the everyday ailments doctors treat in the clinic are actually direct reflections of the damage we're doing out there in the natural world? Let's go ahead and unpack the threads that connect us.
Listen to this realization from Dr. Deep Pankaj Shah. He says he finds himself increasingly caught between the realms of the human body and the world we live in. It's a massive mindset shift, right? He's basically telling us that when he looks at his patients' health conditions, he isn't just seeing isolated medical symptoms anymore. He's seeing repercussions. He is literally seeing the physical fallout of the imbalances that we've created in nature. Just to ground us real quick, this whole perspective is coming from a 2025 personal narrative published in the Haim Journal. Dr. Shah is a senior resident in community medicine over in Gujarat. And I think that context is absolutely crucial, because we're not just talking about abstract poetry here. This is the grounded, reflective observation of a public health professional who is right there in the trenches, witnessing community health trends firsthand. So here is his core thesis, and it's striking. The illnesses in our bodies are reflections of the imbalances in our world. The human body and the earth, they aren't separate. Dr. Shah makes the case that they're intimately interconnected, almost like the veins running through the earth itself. So what we're going to do now is look at how he maps out very specific environmental crises and links them directly to the rise of human diseases. And honestly, the parallels are staggering. Think about our rivers and lakes for a second. These waterways were once pure, but now they're tainted with waste and neglect. We've literally been dumping toxins into the essence of life. Now take that exact image and mirror it inside the human body. Clogged blood vessels. Dr. Shah points out this incredibly dark cycle where the impurities we dump into the Earth's flowing water systems perfectly mirror the gunk that clogs our own internal flow. Whatever enters the water inevitably enters us. And what about the earth beneath our feet? The soil acts as a protective barrier for the planet. Yet we ravage it, we erode it, we pump it full of synthetic chemicals. Well, when you violate the Earth's natural barrier like that, it fights back. In the clinic, Dr. Shah sees this manifesting as a massive rise in skin diseases and allergies. Our skin is our body's protective barrier, right? So what we force into the soil, the air, and the water eventually finds its way back into us, showing up as conditions we just can't ignore anymore. Which brings up a pretty chilling question. In our endless, hungry pursuit of progress, have we accidentally invited the growth of something much darker? Up to this point, we've been talking about external barriers, waterways, and skin. But Dr. Shah wants us to look at the aggressive, unchecked expansion of modern human society. We just build and take and expand, and that external obsession has a terrifying internal mirror. We aggressively tear down forests, we pave over the earth, we build our concrete towers up to the sky, all in the name of progress. And the biological reflection of that unchecked, destructive expansion? Cancer, invasive cells, and tumors. Dr. Shah views these not just as random diseases, but as the physical manifestation of our own overreach. When we disrupt life's delicate balance by taking too much land, the earth reflects that greed right back at us through invasive, unchecked cellular growth inside our own organs. But it's not only the physical environment we're polluting. Think about the hatred, the jealousy, the sheer violence we unleash on others, on animals, and on the planet itself. That chaotic energy doesn't just vanish into thin air, it turns inward. Dr. Shah notes that this spiritual turmoil physically manifests as autoimmune diseases. I mean, think about what an autoimmune disease actually is. Your own cells violently attacking each other. It is literal internal violence. It's a biological mirror of how disconnected we are from the peace nature used to offer. And then there's the way we treat the land itself. Our carelessness has taken land that used to be incredibly bountiful and just totally drained it of its vitality. And as the land goes barren, guess what happens to us? Human fertility is dwindling right alongside it. We were born from this earth, but because we've severed that sacred bond, nature is quietly taking back what we stole. We exhausted the land's fertility, and now our own ability to bring forth new life is reflecting that exact same exhaustion. Okay, let's shift gears slightly because this whole philosophy offers a really haunting lens for looking at our most recent collective trauma, the global pandemic. For decades, we have been busy suffocating nature under endless layers of synthetic plastic. The undeniable reflection when COVID hit? We were forced to cover our own faces in masks, sealed indoors, essentially suffocating in isolation. The more we suffocated the earth, the more we ended up suffocating ourselves. And honestly, the grim irony goes even deeper. Even in death, humanity couldn't escape this cycle of disconnection. The bodies of those lost to the virus were wrapped in plastic and burned. We literally became encased in the exact same suffocating material we used to smother the planet. In our desperate attempt to control nature, we just built our own prison.
When you pull back and look at the whole pattern, it is absolutely impossible to unsee. Polluted rivers mirror clogged vessels. Ravaged soil becomes skin disease. Deforestation fuels cancer. Hatred breeds autoimmune disorders. Barren land reflects infertility. And all that plastic pollution, it mirrors the isolation of the pandemic. Seeing these connections stack up one after another makes it so hard to deny the link between environmental destruction and human illness.
To really anchor this whole framework, Dr. Shah brings up this ancient Sanskrit wisdom, Yatha Pinde, Tatha Brahmande, which basically translates to, as it is in the body, so it is in the cosmos. What's happening on the micro level, right inside our own flesh, is directly mirroring the macro level turmoil of the entire Earth. We can't separate ourselves from the world around us because we are literally made of it. Dr. Shah really hits the nail on the head here. He says, the suffering of the planet is the suffering of the body. The destruction of nature is the destruction of spirit. That is a profound resonance for sure. If humanity and the world are ultimately one and the same, then every single act of environmental destruction is quite literally an act of self-harm against our own bodies. All right, so if we can't separate the health of our bodies from the health of the world, what's the actual game plan? Let's take a look at Dr. Shah's holistic prescription as a public health doctor. How do we even begin to address this? First off, communities absolutely have to understand that their personal health is fundamentally tied to the air, water, and soil right outside their doors. We can't just treat the illness in the clinic, we have to treat the source. Second, we need to actively adopt practices that respect human well-being and the environment at the exact same time. You can't have one without the other. And finally, we have to advocate for policies that actually protect our shared resources. Real, meaningful healing means looking way past the individual patient to the broader environment that keeps us all alive. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. If the illnesses in our flesh are merely reflections of a wounded earth, what do we actually need to heal first? Are we truly fighting diseases, or are we just constantly battling the symptoms of a planet that we are slowly destroying? It's a pretty heavy realization, but honestly, the answer changes everything about how we approach medicine, how we define progress, and how we live our daily lives. Take a moment to think about your own connection to the world around you. And as always, keep asking the big questions.